Fine. So let's get started with our application. Right. So we'll be making a web application here. So I guess, yeah. So aren't you able to see the text? The font size is small, right? Okay. Okay. So there are many layers in it. Yeah. 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 I understand that completely. Um, Let me resolve this. Wait, here you see the layers, right? Here you see the layers. Uh, Fine. And now, are you able to see the full screen? Okay, this is small. You're seeing screens, one screen in another, and then another screen inside another one. Okay, all right. Full screen. It's fine. Does it hang? Does your does it hang? Does your screen hang? Hang means do you get something blurry types? All right. If I'm moving the cursor, you're seeing it, right? Okay, fine, fine. So can we start? Yeah. Okay. So Amjad, I guess you knows a bit about web applications, right? Theoretically, what are web applications? What are web applications? Yeah, exactly. Application is the same thing that you're telling, uh, but applications are divided into various variants, right? Like, for example, you have mobile applications. Mobile applications, they work on your mobiles. Then you have desktop applications. The desktop applications, they work on your desktop. For example, the softwares that you work on. Or if you see if you use Windows 8 or higher versions, so you have store in it, Windows Store, right? So you can have applications like Skype and all. They are the desktop applications. And if you go towards the whole internet thing, the browser thing, that is a web application. Yeah. So the browser oriented applications that work on browsers itself, they are called web applications, or simply we used to call it a web form, right? So here we'll start with creating a simple web form. For example, you have a text box, a drop down list, a button, and something else on your screen, and you navigate from one page to another. A simple application that has a URL, for example, a website. Yeah, exactly. So we'll start with it, right? So we'll first of all, this is Visual Studio, the screen that you're seeing in front of you. This is an environment in which we create web applications. Not only, yeah. So I was telling that not only web applications, you can create any kind of application, .NET based application in this framework. So we will start with creating a new project, right? We will go to new and then project. So here we have different backend backend languages. For example, we can build our applications in Visual Basic as well. We can build our application in C Sharp. We can build our application in F Sharp. There are many languages. So most prominently C Sharp is used. So it is the latest technology. So C Sharp is used most prominently. Yeah. Um, I'm not able to hear you. Yeah. Hello. Okay. Okay. You were asking something. Yeah. C sharp. Yeah, it's C sharp. So we'll go with Visual C sharp. Fine. Then since we have to create web application, we have to choose web. In it, we have Visual Studio 2012. Even if we choose web, there is ASP.NET Web Application. Fine. We can go with it, or we can go over here. We can choose empty web application from here itself. Okay. Even if we choose ASP.NET web application from here, uh, the system asks me whether I have to create an empty application or MVC application, or what kind of application I want to create. It will ask me later on. Fine. So I'll just directly go over here and choose empty web application. I will give a name like web app 12 and click on OK. So I have which contains my project. The solution, it contains the project. This is my project name, web app 12, and it contains two more folders. The first one being properties. So what are properties? Properties contains, if you expand it, it contains assemblyinfo.cs. So what is assemblyinfo.cs? This assemblyinfo.cs contains the information about what all DLLs or what all EXEs are you including in your project. For example, yeah, it is. Yeah, actually, if you want to include some third-party DLL, DLLs are some files that you include in your project so that you can interlink your project with the other third-party tool. Fine. So if you want to include other DLL into your project, you have to specify the information, or you have to document all those DLLs over here in assemblyinfo.cs. Fine. It is not widely used, but it's a good practice to keep it all here. Fine. So this was all about properties. The other folder is reference. So reference is there is some DLL, and you want the properties. The assemblyinfo.cs was used to just document all that. See, you can see assembly title, assembly description, assembly configuration over here. This is one assembly, web app 1.2, and the description about it is given over here. But I have not included this assembly or any other assembly in my project till now. There are many DLLs, there are many references that we add in our project so that our project could work properly. For example, if I have to connect my project with my database, I have to use system.data library. There are many libraries. Some are inbuilt and some are third parties. For example, if I right click over here and I go to add reference, I get many libraries provided by Microsoft. So I could use any library from here. I could use any class from that library as well. Sure. Okay. So these references, they contain all the reference, whether it be a third party reference or it be an inbuilt reference. Then comes a web.config file. Web.config file is a major part of your project because it contains all the application settings that you have to provide for your application. Fine. For example, for now it contains compilation and runtime. The target framework. What is the target framework? This framework is the version of the framework that we are using, the .NET version 4.5. So there are many. In fact, if you want to connect your application with your database, if you want to connect your application with your database, then also you have to specify the connection string over here. Rather than giving in all in all the files of your project, you can simply give it over here and use it in your project. I'll tell you later what are connection strings when we will go to database handling. Right. We'll move forward with adding a web application. Adding a web form. Bhavna. Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry about that. Is it fine? Okay. I'm so sorry. I was using headphones. Okay. So fine. We'll go with adding a web form, a new web form. Right. I'll go to my project. In the Solution Explorer itself, I'll go to my project. I'll right click over it and add a new item. A new item because the web form is not already existing in my system or somewhere in my system. So I'll just go in web and I'll choose a web form. See the extension of this web form is ASPX. Because we are using ASP.NET, the web form extension would always be ASPX. Okay, so the name is web form 1. Fine, we'll keep it this way only, and I'll click on add. So the screen in front of you is the designer page. The designer page of your application. The design, this page contains, do you have some information about HTML? Alright, fine. So HTML is used to design your web page. Similarly, we use ASP. ASP is active server pages. We use ASP to design your web page as well. Yeah. No. Yeah, they are actually different from each other. HT, they are actually different from each other. Yeah, yeah, they design the same thing, but HTML is used only for designing. But on the other hand, ASP is used for designing as well as server-side handling. Server-side handling, for example, you have a web page and you have two text boxes over here. Fine. And if I click on submit button, the things that happen, the whether the text of those text boxes go to your next page, or whether these go to your server side. Server side means this is not, this is the client side, that if I am a user, I am handling a, exactly. So HTML is used just for designing, ASP is used for designing as well as server side handling. Okay, in HTML you cannot code in backend, but in ASP you can. Okay, so here we'll make use of um, this. You can see here the whole syntax is of HTML. The head, the doc type HTML is the root element. Then head tag, the title, whatever you want to display on your screen, the title of your screen. So if I write my first application and you go and run it, you'll be able to see this. Uh, when the page gets loaded, here it will be written my first application instead of this loading, right? Yeah, so this is the title part, and that, yeah, that's the title, not the web address. The web address will be, see this, the web localhost 2713, this is the port number. Until and unless we host our website to some server, we have this localhost. Okay, this is the port number of my IIS, and this webform1.aspx is the address of, is the name of the web form that we have created. We created webform1.aspx, right? So this is same. This is the address, whole address of our application. So we'll move ahead. Then after the ending of this head tag, there comes a body tag. The body tag contains, either you can single div. Div is a division that we call. We can have as many divisions in our application as we want, right? So in this division, I will add two text boxes. Sorry, I will add two fields. The first one would be name, and the second one would be gender. Fine. So here I'll add See, for writing simple text, we have labels. Simple text, like for if you see, if you see only first in your application, only first, so this would be a label, and in front of it there would be a text box. Okay, so I'll write label, I'll give its ID, so that in future if I want to access this label and change the content or change the CSS class or anything else, I can access it using its ID. AS. Yeah, there were two labels, right? One was simple label and the second one was ASP label. Simple label, yeah, the difference is simple label is an HTML tag and ASP label is an ASP tag, right? Yeah. So we'll write ASP label. I'll give its ID as LBL name. Fine. Then I'll write run at equals to server. I have to write run at equals to server in all ASP tags, because not only I'm handling the client side, I'll handle it over the server side as well. Okay. So right, run at equals to server. Yeah. I'll also provide what my label should contain. That is the text attribute. The text attribute would be name, and this is the end of my label. After that, I'll give a text box. Similarly, simple text box is an HTML tag and ASP text box is an ASP tag. I'll write ASP text box. I'll provide the ID, txt, name. Similarly, run at equals to server. That's it. I won't give the text attribute of the text box because the text box is to be filled by the user itself. Fine. Yeah. So I'll give a space. I'll just change the designing of this. Um, Fine. I'll just write something. I'll tell you what these tag mean. So I created a table just for the designing purpose. I created a table so that my labels and my text box should be in tabular format. Right? There, inside table, there is TR. TR is table row. Each table will contain multiple rows, and one row will contain multiple columns. So the column is TD, the row is TR, and the table is table. I'll add this label in my TD. So the first column would be a label, the second column would be a text box. Designing could be proper. I'll add one more TD. The second column will contain this text box. Fine. Yes. I'll show you the design part as well. This is the design part. The first column, although you won't be able to see the outline of the table until and unless you provide it. Yes. Exactly. It will take some time. Yeah. So here is your label. and this is your text box. You can write anything over here. Okay. So we'll go back to our designing, and this was only a text box. We'll try to add a drop down list as well. Fine. We'll go with, in the next row, I'll provide a label named gender. In the next row, I have one TD. TD will have a label. The ID would be LBL gender. Run at equals to server, and text would be gender. Fine. So you can see gender written on your screen. Then another TD, and in another TD I'll have a drop down list. So I'll write drop down list. Similarly, in the case of drop down list as well, we have drop down list and ASP drop down list. ASP drop down list. Yes. So I'll give ID. ID is DDL gender, and run at equals to server. Yeah, that's it. I don't need to give text. Rather than giving text, I have to mention all the values in the drop down list. For example, this drop down list will contain two values, male and female. So I cannot just give text as an attribute. I have to provide different attributes. First one would be male, and the second one would be female. So I'll write a list item. The drop down list is your parent tag, and in that parent tag you will have as many list items as you want. So the first list item would be male, and the second list item would be female. Fine. Yeah, so you have to close this drop down list as well. Sorry, there is an issue. Yes. So you have two rows. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. ASP drop down list. After female, I have closed it like ASP drop down list. Actually, when we open a tag, I can even close this tag like ASP label. I can close it like that. But since the label tag does not have any child elements, so we can close it like this only. No need to go and write the whole thing. But since the drop down list have two child elements, the list item is the child element of the drop down list. It should be enclosed within the drop down list. That is why I closed it like that. Right? Yeah. So we will run it and we'll see what happens. So you have gender over here, and this is your drop down list that contains two list items. If I select female, it would be selected, and if I select male again, male would be selected. Fine. Yeah, yeah, we can add any number of items. So, and I'll also tell you how to add a button. I want to show this button below this gender itself. So what I want to have, I want another tr, another row. I have to create another row, and in that I have to create another column. I'll quickly create another row, and in that I'll create another column. Yes, yes, because for defining a cell, you have to define both things, row and column. A cell contains both the things, right? Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Actually, that yes. You're talking about the margin. Yes. No, that's not necessary. It's just the intelligence. It's just to yeah. You can see the difference. Which is the child element of which element? Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, where were we? We were adding a button. So we'll write ASP button. So we have a button over here, ASP button. I'll provide an ID to it as well. BTN submit. I'll provide the text, what should be written on the button, that is submit, and I'll provide run at equals to server because it needs to be provided in folder. Yeah. Okay. Actually, it is the intelligence of this Visual Studio itself. Whenever I click a space, I have different options to choose from. So even if I press any key, for example, I have to give style or whatever, I'll press S, I'll get all the things with S. Yes, you exactly. I'll press space and then I'll choose anything, and I'll I'll just move my keys up and down keys, and I'll choose enter to select. Fine. So yes, here's my button. I will run it and see how my button shows up. So here's this button. There are the other things that we have already added. If I click this button, nothing would happen because I haven't specified anything, right? So let us move forward and specify some event, on click event. On click equals to, I have to create a new event. what I did was I wrote on click ONC, just ONC, and I pressed tab. So on click was written, and I press equals, the sign comes, the double quotes, and there comes two options: create new event and page load. Page load is a method that we'll hello. Yeah. So page load is a method that we'll see what page load is. We'll see it afterwards. We just created a new event. I just selected create new event and I pressed enter. So after that, btn submit underscore click, it automatically got selected. Right. So if I expand, this was my web form, right? If I expand it, I'll have this webform1.aspx.cs. As I told you that ASP is used not only for designing purpose, it's used for server-side handling as well. So whatever would happen after this button's click, it would go to the server side. So for server side, we have to go to its backend coding. That would be in C#. Fine, we'll just go over here. I just opened it. I just double clicked it, and this btn submit click, it got opened. Fine. This is my function. That was the event, on click event of this button. So this would get fired whenever I click on that button. So now, if I have to redirect my page from this web form 1 to another page, first of all, what I have to do, I have to create another page as well. So I'll simply go over here. I'll add as I did before. I'll choose a web form. The name is webform2.aspx. Fine. I'll click on add, and as I can see, webform2.spx has been added to my solution. So I'll go to my CS class once again, and I have to define the redirect URL. Okay, so I'll write response dot redirect is equals to, yeah, all right, sure. All right. Yes. All right. Sure. You'll design a page. Uh, yeah, page like this. A whole form. You can do one thing. You can design a registration form. Exactly. Yeah, mobile number and all that. Hmm. Okay. Exactly. If you don't put your hands on, then it would be a little bit difficult to remember all these. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I've already recorded it, and you can view it as many times you want, and I'll share that video with you. It's on YouTube. You'll get a YouTube link. Exactly. I have to. All right, fine. I'll just think of a different solution. Yes, actually, this is a Visual Studio. This you can download it from MSDN, or you can simply go and download some. I guess. Wait a second. If you search on Google, you'll find MSDN link for this Visual Studio 2015. Visual Studio 2015 or 2013. Yeah. All right. Sure. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's same. Bhavna Chauhan. BHA. I'll just wait. I'll text you over here. You open your Bhavna Chauhan. You, you have to disconnect this call. Um, yes. No, it's fine. It's fine. If you are okay, if all your queries have been answered, then you can disconnect it. Yes. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. You can connect with your partner, and I'll also ask my team whether the whether the session would be tomorrow or on what day. So till then, I'll ask anyone, or I'll just directly send you the uh, link of that application from where you can download it. Sure. You're welcome. Have a nice day.